street photography on a weekly deadline. And not only that, doing evening street photography on a weekly deadline. How difficult is that? So I'm doing this weekly commission for Amsterdam's main newspaper called Het Parool. It's a weekly page in the paper and it's a full page. I have done this commission a few years ago as well, during COVID, and I made a book about it called Chasing Amsterdam, and then I quit for a few years. Later on, I've started this evening series, just for me. But soon enough, the newspaper asked me if I'd like to take on the weekly publication again. So, how do I approach this weekly deadline and taking photos only in the evening? Let's find out. The biggest challenge is to come home with a photo every time. The image has to be strong enough for a full page, so I can't deliver half work. It has to be good. And over the years, I have created an approach for this, almost a system. I have even built an online course around that, to teach other photographers how to make the most out of their time. It is a lot about observing, reading the light, predicting the actions of subjects, and acting quickly and intentionally. If you're curious to learn more, you can find the link below. Back to the evening. There is something magical about it, especially here in Amsterdam. The city gets calm and quiet, and the water is moving around rhythmically, reflecting the city lights. And being quite a Nordic country, the time of dusk is shifting a lot throughout the year. In autumn, the darkness starts to arrive early. The weather can get very gloomy and even depressing. Going out and actually approach it creatively helps me to deal with this kind of weather and the early dark cold evenings by turning it into something artistic. I'm very much enjoying these solitary evening walks. On a personal level, I don't always want to be home alone, but either I don't want to fill up all my evenings with social activities. So being forced to go out, trying to catch something, and get involved in brief encounters is a perfect middle ground. And it allows me to create something new, a series, a visual diary of a city after dark. When I photograph in the evenings, I'm thinking differently. I'm considering specific locations with certain light or atmosphere I'd like to capture. I think in fluorescent colors, cafe lights, and classic lampposts. And I'm always bringing my camera, even if I'm not looking for anything to capture. That's another thing I try to teach in my online course, to never stop observing. If you keep looking around and stay alert, you will find sceneries when you're not looking for them. And this will make it even easier when you do look for them, because you will simply be more used to observing and you will see more. Take a look at the link below to find out more about my course. Some nights you can kind of feel it in the atmosphere that something is going to happen. There's this tension. Maybe when there's wind, there's always a bit more drama. and tonight it happened as well. Quite soon actually. And being in Amsterdam, I as a photographer always take a lot of pleasure to capture the typical bicycle culture. As for my approach, I spot my subjects very early on. I start thinking about the light, my position, the background, and I make decisions very quickly to not miss that moment. Of course, I will tell you all about it in my course. As I'm capturing the city after dark the whole year around, in springtime the darkness starts to leave the city and it arrives later and later. When I could go out in the winter around 4:30 p.m., I have to wait a lot longer in late spring and during the summer. Right now, it's 10 o'clock in the evening and it's still quite light. So I have this small window of opportunity because usually I finish around midnight, otherwise I will get most of the scenes after midnight will be from people going out, which is not something I want to photograph every week. So it's quite a short period of time, so I have to be sharp. And then all of a sudden it's dark. I really like to photograph in the evenings because there's this particular calmness. It's a different atmosphere. I find it also even easier, maybe because there is more atmosphere, because that's a very important element of my work. Tonight, even though it's Monday, there is a strange atmosphere in town. There's people drunk, singing, falling off each other, swearing. There's this kind of tense atmosphere, which for me as a photographer and someone who waits for these moments, it's great because every moment something can escalate, which I'm kind of waiting for. Now you have a better idea of how I capture the evenings in Amsterdam. It's fascinating to do this for a longer period, in different seasons, with different sceneries and atmospheres. As said, I even find it easier to do street photography in the evenings. It is a creative and mental process in one. So, I guess I will keep being a night owl for a little longer.